So about Bon Clay. Bon Clay is probably an all-time fan favorite character in One Piece, at least as a pre-time skip character. Every once in a while, One Piece will do popularity polls, where they have fans vote which character is their favorite. Then they post the results as a cover for the next chapter issue. I haven't checked if there was any around the time of Marineford or Impel Down, but if there was one, I'm betting Bon Clay was easily at least top 3. Bon Clay is really probably the best example of Oda making use out of old characters, because to be honest, when Bon Clay was first introduced, he looked like he would never show up again once the Baroque work situation was over. He was a textbook example of a one-off type of character, and for a while, it really felt like he did end up being a one-off character. When he was shown messing around with the Straw Hats, and that scene of him turning into Nami, he looked like he would be the comedic relief and gag character of Baroque works, and he mostly was. He was a lot less serious than the rest of the organization. His fights were a lot less serious and more light-toned than others. Then we had the whole situation of him sacrificing himself so that the Straw Hats can escape the Marines. It was a good way to wrap up Bon Clay and take him out of the story without him dying or anything like that. He turned out to be a cool guy and helped the Straw Hats. But way later on, when no one expected it, he showed up again in Impel Down. His sacrifice ended up with him getting arrested, and he didn't show up again for like another 200 episodes. And in this arc was when he went from a good character to a great one. He was one of the biggest contributors to the Impel Down arc. Bon Clay tagged along for most of it and helped Luffy descend and ascend to prison, but most importantly when he stayed behind to open the gate. That scene solidified him as one of the coolest characters in the show for me. I can't think of any other characters like Bon Clay, at least in One Piece, where they go from a character that looks like they'll be disposed of by the end of the arc to one of the biggest players in the biggest saga of the story, well, the second biggest now, since the whole Wano Kaido thing is going on. But still, no one was at all expecting that from his character. Ever since then though, Bon Clay's whereabouts have been unknown. Actually not really. Saying they're unknown is misleading. More like we don't know what's up with his character right now. So I wanted to discuss about Bon Clay today, and what his current status is, and what he could possibly do in the future. Before that though, like and subscribe for future content. We actually have a decent lead of what Bon Clay is up to. At first, lots of people thought Bon Clay would have ended up dead, because he was responsible for letting a galleon size worth of prisoners escape Impel Down, as well as the fact that he himself is an escapee. That alone would be way more than enough for him to be killed, and we weren't updated on him until a while later. So that's what most people were guessing happened to him. But I guess Magellan is more merciful than people would think, because Bon Clay isn't actually dead. He's still in the prison. From the looks of it, he was just brought back to the prison and put in a cell. He probably got some sort of punishment. They weren't just going to forget about his crimes. But he got off way easier than I thought he would. And to top it all off, he became the next leader of Nukama Land, which was a LGBTQ place that was hidden in the prison. It used to be run by Ivankov, but he obviously isn't there anymore. So Bon Clay replaced him as a new leader, which might mean he still has a connection to the outside world, because I'm pretty sure they still have a connection to Ivankov, since Ivankov still has that kingdom under him, the heart-shaped one, that the Revolutionary Army is hiding at. I could see them being able to contact each other, being the people that they are, to keep each other updated on the inside and outside. So Bon Clay must be at least partially aware of what's going on in the outside world. Actually, he probably has a pretty good idea of what's going on, because the guards at Impel Down were for some reason willing to hand Doflamingo a newspaper, and it didn't seem like a once in a while request type of thing. It looked like they handed him a newspaper daily for him to read. The prison has some pretty weird policies. First, they let off a prisoner who let dozens of other prisoners escape pretty easy, considering his crime, and now they hand newspapers to the prisoners. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that Bon Clay has access to the outside, at least to the extent of knowing what's going on and stuff. So he probably knows about stuff like Luffy's new bounty, for example. The real question is what Bon Clay will or can do in the future, because I can definitely see Oda making use out of his character. I don't think he'll just have his character end with him being in the prison forever. He will get out eventually, it's just a matter of when, and that's really the main issue, because I can't imagine Bon Clay getting out. He has that underground group with him, but I don't think he could escape with Magellan around. Not to mention, They probably have made it even harder to escape after having Luffy and the others escape successfully. The only way I see Bon Clay leaving is for someone to get him from the outside, and the only possible candidate that I see that makes sense for that is Ivankov. They might relay messages to each other and stuff. And if the time is right, they might come to save Bon Clay and the rest of the kingdom, to come join them in whatever is happening at the time. It probably won't be for a long while, since I don't think they'll call them for anything going on right now at least. But eventually, I could definitely see something like that happening. That is pretty much all I had to say though. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.